92.1 WVTK presents our local spotlight feature. Here's your host, Amanda Lee.
And welcome again to the Local Spotlight. I'm Amanda Lee, and this is where we welcome all kinds of great guests from all over Addison County and beyond. And today we're just reaching into our backyard with the Ilsley Library. Let's welcome Rebecca Irwin and David Clark to the show. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Hi, Amanda.
Anytime. I love having you guys on the show and to learn a little bit more about the library. And we have a fresh face to the library. Rebecca, you're brand new to the Board of Trustees, right?
Yes, just elected on Tuesday, actually.
That's fabulous. Brand new, just a couple days old.
Thank you.
How did that? I'm very curious about the Board of Trustees because a lot of people don't know how the whole library functions. Is, they go into the library, they get their library card, they show them their card, and you take out the books, and it's all for free, or you take these workshops or anything going on with the library. And that's all funded and taken care of through the Board of Trustees as far as finding the money and putting it all together and allocating it. Is that a pretty good synopsis?
No. And actually, just one of the things I'd mentioned, too, is that a lot of folks just come in and they don't borrow anything, but they're there to use everything that's in the building. They sit, they use the computers, they attend to programs, and so. But it's a lot there, and we have a board that, and the way the Vermont works is that we are a department of Middlebury government. And so some towns, that's not the case, like over in Vergennes or in Bristol. Those libraries are, they get their funding from the town government, but they're not a department. And so we're a department. So we're a little different than all the other libraries in Addison County. And so I report to the town manager, Bill Finger, and I also work with the select board. Because that's where we get just about all the money that we use. But the really nice thing is that we have a citizen elected board that helps run the place. And they are in charge, and maybe Rebecca could tell us a little bit about how did you get onto this board?
I'll let
you first of all start off with that.
I was going to say, did you walk in one day and say, "Hey, I'd like to be on the Board of Trustees. Can I have a chair?" How did that work?
It wasn't exactly like that, but it was a conversation that I had with the new youth services librarian, Sarah Lawton, who's at the Ilsley Library. And I'm a heavy user of the public library. I have 2 young children at home, and we're there a lot. I mean, sometimes in the summer, it could be 3 or 4 times a week. And at our house at any time, we have a lot of books from the library and movies. So it's really a big part of our lives. And I asked her how I could help. And the first thing in my mind was perhaps I could come and help sit at the desk or clean things up, shelve books. I'm actually a librarian also by training, so I have a sense of how hard it is to keep a library going. And one of the things I mentioned was maybe there would be a role for me on the trustee board in a few years. And she thought, well, why don't you do that sooner? And it was an idea that we talked about together. And I went to the town hall. Actually, it was at the public library, got a piece of paper, and I needed 30 signatures of registered Middlebury voters. And then my name was on the ballot on Super Tuesday.
Wow. It all happened that fast. That's incredible. And to have that background in being a librarian is really helpful, too, because a lot of people don't see the other side of things. I actually have a little bit of that background as well, surprisingly. I worked at a library all through college, the college library. And, hey, the Dewey Decimal System is great, but they don't just magically get back on the shelves. And you have to check up on, shall I say, the delinquents that don't bring their books back on time. And, so it's great to have you on the board.
Thank you.
That's fabulous.
Maybe I could even mention the 4 other people that are on the board: Chris Waters, David Andrews, Maria Graham, and Sandra Carletti, who has been the chair for the last year. And so we have our next meeting later on in March, and then they're going to be reorganizing and choosing the officers for the new year, and we'll see who will be chair next year.
Now, as far as the Board of Trustees go, as far as your jobs go, would it be an accurate depiction to say, that maybe the librarians, or even suggest there's a suggestion box, I don't know, that say, next year let's buy, 600 new books and one new computer, and let's have, iPads change to the desk. I don't know. Would that be an accurate depiction that they present that to the trustees, and the trustees say, let's allocate this money here and let's do this, and, let's paint the walls purple? I mean, is that an accurate depiction of how everything gets into the library that it does?
Yeah, more or less. Okay. One of the things is that we this library here has 3 librarians. And so what the board does is the board is make sure that we have the resources to do some good services, to provide some good services. So once they get the money and get everything in place, then it's really the responsibility of the librarians to kind of decide, okay, what is it that the folks in our area want? And one of the great things about citizen boards is that they can be the voice of the community and say, I hear this, my friends see this, or I would like this. So they give us a perspective of the people using the library, which is always nice to have.
Now, what about the library's role during it's probably an overused term, but tough economic times? People might be struggling, or the economy takes a downturn. Does the library play a large role in that, as far as being a resource or a place that people can go to use the internet if their internet's been turned off, or they decide to get rid of that, or a place to turn for entertainment?
I think that it is. You say that really well. I mean, what we see at libraries, and I know this from library statistics that I read all the time, is that when the economy is in the dumps, library statistics soar. So as we cut back on Netflix and cut back on movie rentals or buying books, we turn to our libraries. And when we're out of work, we go to the library and help on job searching. And those kind of courses are there for us, and they're free. So in some ways, the services are even more useful when we're struggling.
Yeah, it was funny, when they were constructing the bridge, the Cross Street Bridge, we did notice a little drop. The number of people walking into the building, the number of books and movies being checked out, but they've resurged now, and the numbers are going up again. And I think people, now that the bridge is behind us, people know how to get to the library, and I think the economy has something to do with a lot of people coming in.
I think that's great that the library is so different than it was maybe 20 years ago, the library that I remember when I was a kid, and 20 years beyond. But you can go into the library and check the internet and maybe do some, family tree research, or check out some movies or something like that. I think it's great that you guys have all these resources that you do.
And a lot of that is you can do at home now, because we're almost considering the internet like our big branch, and whether it's learning a language or downloading some books that we have. And we're also, one of the things we're going to do working on this summer is to extend the Wi-Fi that we have in the building. We're going to extend it all along Main Street.
Oh, hey.
So hopefully, maybe by the end of the summer, you'll be able to sit on the green and with a laptop or with a handheld device and search the internet and see what's going on. So we're very much going outside our building.
I think that's great. What else do we have to look forward to with the library for coming events?
Well, actually, one of the things is just this coming weekend. We're working with so many people who come in. They got a Nook for Christmas, or somebody gave them an iPad or something. And what we really have a lot of fun is just getting people together who have these and sharing. Well, I do this with this, or let me show you what I do on mine. And so we're going to have some sessions this weekend. We're going to do Nooks and iPads. So if you have one out there, or if you would like to see what you can do with one, come on by on Saturday, just before the Chili Fest, here in town. We're going to do it around 10:30 on Saturday, and then on Sunday we're going to do it around 1:30. Just bring your Nook or your iPad, or just come to listen, and we're just going to sit around a table and chat. And then later on in the month, we're going to do Kindles. So it's a fun time. Of course, we have Chris on our staff who loves to show people how to download, the music and the audio and the books and stuff. So those are we enjoy doing those.
Oh, that's great. You see, there you go. And there's another item that's a part of the the library that a lot of us didn't know that was there. I have a friend of mine that had an iPad, and I went to use it. Maybe I could benefit from this, roundtable discussion. I tried to do something on it, and I would look to him and go, fix it. I don't understand what I'm doing. It was something as simple as getting on Facebook. I'm like, I can't. Well, I don't know.
Well, I have an iPad too, and I know that I feel like I'm using just 1% of the capability of the machine.
Exactly.
And I really do want to talk to some other people and say, well, what do you do with it? And some guy has this astronomy app that he uses, and he can point to a star, and it can show him what constellation he's looking at. And I think all these things are really interesting with these machines. So it's fun to just talk with other people.
And I think that would be one message that was really important to me, which is that this is my library, and I spend a lot of time there and use its resources, and I wanted to give something back to it. So really, in any case, in my case, I volunteered time and was elected to a position. But for anyone else, they could simply come to the library and offer suggestions or something that they'd like to see, a new service. And that's how the library does the new things that it does, is by having suggestions from anyone who comes in.
Well, we always love having you guys on the show and learning so much more about the library and everything you guys have to offer. Rebecca and David, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Now, if you want some more details about the Ilsley Library and all the events they have going on, especially if you just got one of those new tech gadget thingamabobbers and you don't know how to use it, well, they can help you out. They'll have a roundtable discussion coming up this weekend, and plus so many other events going on. So be sure to check our website, 921wvtk.com. Click on the local spotlight. We'll have all kinds of links up there for you so you can stay connected to the Ilsley Library. The WVTK Weather Center forecast and the Go Green Ride at 5 are both still ahead.
Would you like to be part of Amanda Lee's Local Spotlight? Get the scoop and learn how right now at 921wvtk.com.